Okay, welcome back to Power Palace YouTube channel or Instagram page, or Facebook maybe, wherever you're watching this. Today I'm going to go over my suggestions for shoulder day. I like to do just one day where I do nothing but shoulders. Just kind of ends up being how my workout routine is because my bro split is a little bit different. It's a little unusual. To be honest, I also do other things. I also do historical fencing practice, so my version of a bro split is, not just working one muscle group, but also doing some swordsmanship. Anyway, swordsmanship is very shoulder intense, so I find just doing one day of shoulders is pretty sufficient for me. So what are we going to do for shoulder day? I'm actually not going to do a lot of different exercises because, again, I do historical fencing, which is a very shoulder dominant exercise. Okay, but you're using your shoulders for every swing of the motion. So I have very minimal amount of shoulder stuff. So this may not apply to everybody. You might want a different training routine, okay? But if you're a beginner, this is probably sufficient for getting into working out your shoulders, okay? So what I like to do is I like to start out with dumbbell free weight overhead press. And the reason for that is because I want to work my stabilizers. Now, the reason why you use a dumbbell over a barbell or a machine is because dumbbells will always work stabilizer muscles to keep your hands in a certain position. So dumbbells, now just grab these 45s here, okay? So in order to maintain this way, right, I can't let my muscles can't let the dumbbells swing around, right? It has to maintain them in this perfect line. Whereas the barbell is going to maintain it in that line for me, right? So that's one of the reasons why you use the dumbbells, so that you work stabilizer muscles that the barbell and the machine wouldn't work. And in that regard, the barbell also works stabilizer muscles too, not the same ones as dumbbells will, because the barbell, you can't go back this way, right? You definitely have to keep the weight in a straight, line as you're pressing, doing a pressing movement or pulling movement, whichever it is. Whereas with the machine is keeping the weight in a line every single time. Now, many bodybuilders, especially those who are, those who do HIIT training, high intensity interval training, they're machine dominant, and their goal is to fully exhaust the muscles in a single set. And that you will definitely see, mass hypertrophy results from that. But what you won't work is the stabilizer muscles. Now, it's often argued that stabilizers don't matter for bodybuilding anyway, because they tend to be smaller muscles. And that, I think that's true, but the way that I look at it is, what does it matter if I have these huge muscles if I can't press on a barbell or a dumbbell with similar amounts of weight as I can do on the machine? Of course, you can do a lot of weight on the machine because you're not having to work your stabilizer muscles, okay? But that in real life, movements aren't done on machines. Real life, you have to use your stabilizer muscles to pick shit up, okay? So yeah, you spend more time in the gym. Yeah, it's more effort. Yeah, it's more frustrating because you're putting all the stress on your nervous system. But overall, it's better to have free weights mixed with machines, not machine only. Now, of course, that also has to apply to your personal level of health and your goals, of course, right? Like if you're playing a different sport, okay, you're not into bodybuilding as some type of big thing in your life. You're mostly wanting to complement your strength training for a different sport like baseball or basketball or football or whatever else is. Sure, just use machines only, okay? That's fine because you're going to be working your stabilizer muscles in your core sport anyway, right? The actual thing that you're training for. That's okay. And if you have injuries, of course, I've got shoulder injuries, right? There's certain exercises that I'm reluctant to do because of my shoulder injuries. And I will substitute it with something else, usually machine dominated, right? So that all makes sense. Anyway, that's enough of an introduction. Let's go into the actual exercises that I am going to be doing, or at least I'm suggesting for my routine. Okay, first exercise is going to be the overhead dumbbell press, which is very similar to a military press, but not exactly the same. So, inclined bench at a very high angle, a little bit inclined, but not perfectly straight up, okay? You're gonna have dumbbells that you can manage. Now, I'm using a lot lighter dumbbells than I actually can handle. I'll do an actual set and I'll show you something more manageable. My main problem is that trying to get dumbbells up into this position is actually very difficult to do when you start getting heavier dumbbells and you need a spotter to help you. Now you can buy these spotter arm things that will hang over a dumbbell. So I could hang the spotter arms to the dumbbells over the military press, or even over the inclined dumbbell press bars. But I don't have them, so we're not going to be doing that. A lot of people do overhead presses in a way that is actually kind of bad for your joints, okay? The common way is that they treat it like a military press. The problem is, again, like the bar can't go like this and that when you're doing a military press of the barbell, right? It's being held for you. And you're also holding a different position. Like I'm holding it all the way back here where you wouldn't be able to put the barbell that way, right? So I actually suggest keeping your elbows in when you're going to do an overhead press, right? And that makes it a little bit more chest dominant, but it does tend to make it a little easier on your tendons, which you don't want to work. You don't want to work your tendons, the joints, you want to work the muscles, right? And I'm doing this mostly as a warm-up for my shoulders. So we're going to go like this, right? This is how we're going to do our overhead press. Just like this. It's not a hard exercise. Now I'm going to use the actual weight. This is not going to be the most amount of weight I can do. These are going to be 45s, okay? Just because these are the only dumbbells I can get up by myself. Again, I need to get either a spotter to work out with me, or I need to get those grips. So again, shoulders, elbows in, press up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just go for 12. It's a warm-up exercise. Don't have to go crazy. We got more shoulder stuff to do. You know, I should mention that if you consistently can't find someone to spot you when you're working out, instead of doing the overhead press, as I demonstrated, the modified version, right? Maybe just do an Arnold press, which is a kind of similar exercise. You're not going to be able to do as much weight with it. It's really kind of more of an intermediate weightlifting exercise, I think. But I'll demonstrate what it is, because maybe, just use very light weight when you're starting out, and be careful with the movement. Don't try to hurt yourself. So I'm going to pick up the dumbbells back up here again, put them back into position, okay? And I'm going to drop back down in here. And instead of having my elbows in like this, I'm going to have it more like this, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press up like this and down like this. You got to be careful with your rotations, because you could very easily overwork your tendons that way, all right? Okay, controlled motions, be careful with it. Definitely don't use the max amount of weight you could possibly overhead press. Be careful and be concise in what you're doing, and watch yourself. And listen to your body. If you start feeling a lot of pain in your shoulders, stop the movement. Give yourself 30 seconds, 60 seconds of rest. Drop down a weight. Drop down some pounds on the dumbbells. Try again. Okay. The next exercise that we're going to recommend, or at least I'm recommending, is the military press barbell. Now, I'm going to say up front, I'm not going to actually do this today. And the reason is because I don't have a spotter. This second exercise should be done to muscle failure. I don't have a spotter. I have spotter bars, right? But I have a spotter to help me push through to muscle failure. So as an alternate exercise, I'm actually going to do this on the hammer strength military press machine that we have here. Now it's not going to work my stabilizers as well, as I said before up front, but it's more important to go to muscle failure than it is to work the stabilizers. Just prioritize, right? You want to see hypertrophy, you got to work to muscle failure. Now some people use this thing a little bit weird, like somebody doesn't have it locked in right now. This is not really an adjustable seat. So I guess you can kind of get away with it because the force is going to be pushing it straight down, but be mindful using this, using the military press. So you're kind of lifting the weight behind you using this type of military press that we have, which can be kind of challenging, especially when you have a lot of weight on there. So again, I recommend having a spotter. The military press is a pretty easy exercise, right? You're kind of like doing an upward bench press. So you're gonna bring all the way down to your chest and you're gonna push up. Try to keep your elbows underneath it too. It's an important thing, right? And you're just gonna press like this. And you're gonna go for 6 to 12 reps doing a military press for the shoulders. Not a very complicated exercise, but again, to be able to actually challenge myself and reach muscle failure, I would need a spotter for this exercise. That may be one of the reasons why you hardly see military press dedicated stations anymore in gyms, at least in the upper body areas, because you need a spotter and a lot of people just don't have training partners when they go to commercial gyms. So I'm gonna hop over here to the hammer strength machine and do my military press workout for the day. The hammer strength military press that we have in here is actually called the front military press. And that just means that it does work the upper chest a bit more than a conventional military press does, but you know, it's all the same shit. Adjustable seat, really easy to use. One little trick here, the higher up you have it, the more chest dominant it is going to be. The lower the seat, the more shoulder dominant it is going to be. So just to let you guys know, some people are basically using this as a chest press by having the seat all the way up, or they're just super short, I don't know, shorter than me. Not a lot of people in here shorter than me. Keep it like maybe about halfway down. You'll probably be, you want to basically have the handles, you know, kind of above, definitely above your nipples. So again, this is going to be a little more chest dominant than an actual military press, but it's still going to work the shoulders. So pretty easy. The machine's going to do all the work for your stabilizers. All you got to do is press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that is muscle failure. And that is what you want to aim for on the military press, this second exercise. That sweet spot where you have to give it 100% to crank out that last part of the last rep. That is momentary muscle failure. That is what you want to hit. That is what you want to hit. Now, do you have to do momentary muscle failure on literally every exercise? No, you do not. I suggest not doing it on any type of dumbbell overhead press, because what you're hitting momentary muscle failure with is those stabilizer muscles that are very small and weaker compared to the larger muscles that you're going to be using for something like this, or even the barbell assisted version of an overhead press, which is the military press. It's very important. This is going to prevent you from getting stupid injuries that F your shoulders up for months, maybe even years, okay? Do not, on your very first warm-up exercise, go to momentary muscle failure with an overhead dumbbell press. Don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. Unless you have a spotter to help you through it so that you don't, F yourself up really badly. But even then, I would suggest just do it as a warm-up exercise, okay? Get the blood flowing, activate those muscles. You'll definitely work the stabilizers to their limits, even though you're not, going to that momentary failure. Now, these machines, just do whatever, right? You're really unlikely to seriously injure yourself using the machine-assisted versions of exercises, because what usually gets injured, what gets pulled, is the stabilizer muscles. Those are the ones that usually get injured the most and the easiest, because they are weaker than the larger muscle groups within whatever you're trying to work. So hope that helps you. Do this for 12 reps, okay? And then do 4 sets of it, and we're going to move on to the next exercise. Okay, next exercise we're going to do is side lateral raises on the lateral raise machine. So you can also do this with dumbbells. Very popular to do with dumbbells. I don't like to do it with dumbbells. 2 reasons. First, I have a shoulder injury on the left side. It makes it harder for me to do certain types of shoulder exercises, and this is definitely one of them. The other thing is that it ends up relying very heavily on your grip strength and other types of strength to get it up in the right positions to work the shoulders. I find this to be a lot more isolated. So I have 160 pounds on here. Another thing that you gotta consider is, like, even though you're chicken winging it, you have to have your shoulders in the right position for it. So you should feel the tension immediately from here, right, in your shoulders. And you're just gonna raise it up, not crazy high, it's about this high, right? 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, okay. That's a good warm-up. So yeah, you're not trying to go super crazy high with it, right? It's not a trap workout. It's a lateral raise for your shoulders. It's mostly going to work the front delt, the rear delt a bit, but mostly I think the side delt is really what it tends to do the most for. So go for 12 sets. You don't have to reach muscle failure on this one. 12 sets, 4 reps, 12 sets. 12 reps, 4 sets. Sorry. All right, I'm going to finish this workout out for a while so I have a clear head and can talk. Now we're going to do some isolation work, okay? So what I have here is our Smith machine. This is an old school Smith machine, by the way. So this barbell is probably like not even 45 pounds. I'd say it's probably maybe 40 pounds, okay? I don't have a lot of plates on here. I got 35s on here, so like what, 110 pounds? It's not a lot of weight. This is going to focus purely on the front delt. That's all this is. And I'm using a 70-degree bench, stationary bench for it. One correction before we go forward. I think I said 70-degree bench. This is a 75-degree bench. Sorry about that. Just call it the stationary military press bench. It's easier than remembering all these numbers. Military press bench, basically. That's the whole reason why I have this bench, by the way, and this this machine over here. The whole reason is for this exercise. This is possibly the best exercise you can possibly do to isolate your front delts. And here we go. So it's not a huge amount of range of motion either. We're just going to go up a little bit and we come right back down. It's focused just on the front delts is all it is. So nice little close grip here. And three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. As you can see, hard to even get to 12. So shoot for 8 to 12 reps. Starting out, maybe even go for 6 reps, whatever weight you're doing. It's a great exercise for isolating that front delt. Make sure you get all the way down, okay? Really get down and just push it, really focus on activating these front delts. That's really all there is to it. Okay, now we're going to do our last exercise for the shoulders, which is just going to be a normal pull-up, right? This is what's going to finish off the rear delts, really, and every other part of your shoulders, to be honest. So, just get up here, you know, and give yourself nice grip, normal bench press, normal pull-up press, and just try to do at least 6, you know, with the chin over the bar. It's that simple. Okay. You feel like your rear delt's tapped out, it's good to stop. At least I'm going to stop because I already did work back yesterday, so it's actually pretty challenging. Okay, so that's basically bench shoulder day. Okay, you can of course do other stuff if you want to. Some people like to do a barbell over behind the head press. I don't do that. Okay, you're welcome to do it if you like. I have other stuff I'm going to be doing for my shoulders, my swords, so that's just me. Hope you guys got something out of this, and see you in the next video.